Federal judge has dismissed Brett Favre's lawsuit against a fellow retired NFL player. The judge says Shannon Sharpe's remarks about Favre were constitutionally protected, that is. Sharpe had criticized Favre's connections to a welfare misspending case in Mississippi, saying Favre, quote, stole money from people that really needed that money, unquote. In a ruling just today, the judge says Sharpe was using rhetorical hyperbole. He wrote, no reasonable person would believe that Favre actually went into people's homes and took their money. Favre is not facing criminal charges.